continuing Bomber Cyberpunk today, and then tomorrow we're continuing Great Ace Attorney, and then tomorrow we're playing Bomber Cyberpunk. And tomorrow I'm going to be streaming for longer, like... I'm probably going to start streaming at 2, but, like, stream until 5, 6-ish. I'm not sure. As for today, we're just continuing Ace Attorney as usual. We're just doing business as usual. Can this not be, like, wrapped around me, please? That would be very helpful. Alright, guess it is. Whatever. What happened to you? Alright. Phone. I need to tweet out the stream. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm very tired today. Now we actually start the video game 5 minutes into the stream. I believe it's what's called the force of inertia acting on object. Well, whatever it's called, it's the same force that puts over those books on the bookshelf and also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop the ship made earlier. We had come to this cabin not long before and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Oh yes, that's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yeah, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed, or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you saying that last night, after Mr. Asogi was killed... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The SS Brcf made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelf had toppled over, and all of the ornaments. It is almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelf and deliberately knocked everything over. Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asogi's cabin. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You said Brcf make emergency stop! It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that have possibly happened? Unless you're saying the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside used to trigger the emergency alarm? There's a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the cabin cannot afford to rely on the eyes of its lookout alone, hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. What's up? Good morning. Hi. The sort of button is almost compelled to press. One is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's own curiosity. Wait, it was you. When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop, as indeed it did a little earlier today. Mr. Schoen, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. Mind if you do some studying? Yeah, I don't mind. Good luck with studying. How dare you mess with ship? I report you to captain. You're in much trouble now. Now, sure all can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. After what happened to Mr. Asogi, did the ship make an emergency stop or did it not? You're idiots! Brcf's huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop even in the middle of the night, there would be chaos everywhere. Is that why we all have a headache? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. We do? What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night? The ship's log.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? Duh! That is correct. Why? And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine! Ah, you rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose! That is where I put it always! The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear under normal circumstances you write the phrase nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until the first light this morning, there was nothing recorded at all. That is... yeah, because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us shortly after 2 a.m. something happened here aboard the SS Brcf. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish! If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. If something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't believe that anyone would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of the night. Well, no, that's a good point. The headache! It's because we were all drugged! What of the throbbing? What do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Oh, yes. I have had a headache. You're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right, my head's throbbing today too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened. They drugged every single passenger on board after I climbed back in the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruto, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes, sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Cosmo looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No! Really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific, designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. Well, Seaman? And that's why you didn't write everything. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And for that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, will be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade. The terrorist! Please, no more. I will tell everything. I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. Those crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. I remember now. I did notice I'm chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at some point. Dad, we cannot make all drug, how could you say, dissolve? Talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with small fishing boat. While all the passengers of the SS Brcf slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion in their evening meals had contained. So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who dislike chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosmo's cabin door. But it also could have been anyone on board. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. No, everyone was asleep. Oh, I wasn't say so. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed with the tiredness because of the sleeping drug. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabin for the night. The overwhelming majority of passengers would happily sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruto, do the job for me. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of guilt on the wind? What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No, you must hear it with your eyes. For observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruto, your assistance, if you would please. With observation, my dear fellow, of these two perfect observation, if you remember, Mr. Naruto, we know that someone tried to fabricate evidence by tampering with the scene of Mr. Asogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two were there when it happened. Precisely, you are delightfully quick to grasp the meaning. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night. The shoes! The shoe shine! He has arms like tree trunks, doesn't he? Hairy tree trunks. Yes, he certainly has sailor arms. He's a born man of the sea. Even if I had been awake, I couldn't have done anything about being dragged out of this wardrobe by this man. You seem to be lost in thought. Oh, sorry. Blame those hairy tree trunks. Have you noticed something significant about Steven Stroganov's hat? Oh, no, sadly not. I was just thinking that if only we found it in Kazuma's cabin, it would all be so easy. True, a hat dropped at the scene would have been very conclusive evidence. That's a point. I'm sure I saw your university uniform hat at the scene somewhere. That is not a point, at least not one I'd like you to make. She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair, like little pink shells. There's something dangling down from her ear. The other earring! She only has one earring. I mean, I guess that could be a fashion statement. There's something attached to her ear. I expect why that's called an earring, a little piece of jewelry. An earring, is it? It really is tiny. Perhaps part of it is missing. It broke off, so now all that's left is the clasp part that attaches to the ear. If that's the case, she doesn't appear to have noticed that it's broken.
Yes!
I noticed the dainty jewelry you're wearing on your ears, Miss Pavlova. We would find a piece of those earrings in the Sogi's cabin. Although, we haven't actually found anything yet, so we didn't. What precisely was your intention with that, Mr. Naruto? Well, the truth is, you do not have a term for the observation or deduction. Did that hurt? How exactly? I can think of two possible ways. Either we find a trace of something in the person in question left behind at the scene, or if that's not possible, a trace of something that the person took away from the scene, either accidental or deliberately. What is this?
Yes!
Seaman Stroganov! You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Ah, yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganov's uniform. I hope Sholm stays around after this trial. I hope he continues being a character throughout the whole game. That would be cool. If not, that's sad, but I hope he does. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. The evidence that proves what the stain on the back of Seaman Stroganov's uniform really is.
Yes!
Yes, it's this photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. A rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah, the penny drops at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way, which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after. It was beef stroganoff. He stroganed my beef till I'm off. Alright, yes, it was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student cabins to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Barrier do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Biff, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet. Biff, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on floor. What happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend. Everything that happened in his cabin is like what Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Rasogi's cabin, then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell. You're lying! Yes, that is right. So after the incident where the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on the floor. Then she went to look. No, Angel? You're lying! The door was not locked, so she opened to look and, well, you already know what happened after. There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind. What? When you went to Mr. Asogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why? I'd already told you. When Nina opened door of student cabin and looked, I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Duh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. You're lying out of your teeth! I understand, and I believe you. I don't! So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Cosmo's death at last? Ah, something that nearly slipped my mind. This photograph. I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly, and the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph that seems to me as somewhat unnatural. What do you mean, unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? I have no idea! The neck? The fist being closed. No, they could have...
Yes!
It must be here, Shirley. Allow me to offer you a piece of advice regarding the pursuit of detection, my dear fellow. When noticing a crucial point, it can be helpful to keep your eyes open. They were open. And it can be equally helpful to use them. Sorry, I'll try that. I think it's plain what Mr. Sholmes means by unnatural. The word written in a foreign language underneath his fingertips, surely. That particularly crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. No, I mean to identify another point. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. Would you land as the victim has? What of your hands? You look like the sort of fellow that stumbles with some regularity. This should be an easy task. He would have put out his hands to catch himself.
Yes!
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say, as though he were gripping something. Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? You fucking bitch! I knew it! I called it! But the game didn't let me pick it! It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist? That is the final clue. The last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes. So it's either the left ear or the right ear.
Yes!
Because they either want me to show the one that already exists. Miss Pavlova, I notice on your ear that even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it must have broken, I suppose. But looking at your other ear, I notice a crescent moon. I don't believe it! Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there is only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Miss Pavlova, Mr. Asogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear, maybe just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night, in Mr. Asogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. You were quite literally at arm's length of him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no. No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb out of this huge ship. Why are we all solving this now instead of in a court portion? I missed the court portions. Where the fuck are the court portions? That's like the whole point of Ace Attorney. Darko, wait. The cat. I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle, but I tried waving her favorite toy. But nothing worked. Darko would not come back. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again and I was going to leave the man's cabin... Just a moment. Sorry, but... Oh, yes? I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, the Russian ballerina. No? I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man in a land from a faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing at Shanghai in the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. So you've run away. Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Then it happened. Everything it was. Oh, he was actually going to the wardrobe to talk to me. Wait, I shouted, and then Darko jumped out of my arms and down onto the young man's feet, and as he turned around to look at me, you're still lying! I push him. Okay. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. And that's when he went to fetch help from Seaman Stroganov, who was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and then thud on the floor. So I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go." So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it, so no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. Yes, I went into the cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. Then I found Stowaway. In wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway. I closed wardrobe's door and put back strange paper to sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Suzato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote wardrobe, so the person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway. And tell me, what did the glass spell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I finished job by pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. A Accordingly, the SS Brea did come to an emergency halt a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bull on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Cosmo about the fact you'd run away from your homeland, and it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes. But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. Oh! He said an inspector was his friend. Yes, meaning me, who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I'm not Cosmo, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. Well, Mr. Naruto, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make. What action was the victim really about to take at the moment? Pull me out of the wardrobe. Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail of the room. Well, yes, I've spent quite a lot of time in a wardrobe, but still, the cabin had been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Cosmosen. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes! If there's one thing I've learned today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Cosmo looking at?
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked that Cosmo was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what is directly besides the bell cord, the wardrobe, where he knew I was hiding. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night? Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh no! Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made her sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. You stupid bitch! Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry, really. I'm so sorry. What have I done? And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Beria was finally laid to rest. So where's the court section? Isn't Ace Attorney all about doing court shit? I want to be a lawyer! This is the lawyer game! What will happen to Miss Pavlova now then? Once you reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police. What about the fact? Would the Russians try to Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort that all out. Mr. Sholmes can do that, so she won't be going back to Russia then. No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I'm sorry. Seaman Shogun? Oh yeah, you should be put in jail for aiding and abetting! This motherfucker should go to jail for aiding and abetting! But I didn't think about you. About how you lost a good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. Good! That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Cosmo's death feels like such a waste, but... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Duh! Beef stroganoff. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the council to arrange your passage back to Japan. So, you should get back to your cabin now. It looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. To think that only days ago, Cosmo and Laughing were how we'd tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Suzato-san? Naruto-san, I didn't know you had returned. Well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams, and now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly... Silly?! It's too much for Naruto-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain, but I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I would do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Anything, Inspector? Will you let me go to Great Britain? Surprise, Mr. Naruto! What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway, after all. Ah ha 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 ha. This fucking bitch. Mr. Sholmes, we do appreciate your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. Wait a minute, it's just me that has to go back, right? I mean, I was the stowaway. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It is supposed to be 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Poor Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extraordinarily simple solution. All you require is 1 lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Holmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. But anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Miss Susato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruto, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shore. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruto? I have a month in which to study, to learn what I need to become a lawyer in Great Britain. That's ridiculous. Are you suggesting anybody could learn all that in only 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma, he said there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and he said he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit, too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Susato? I think it's a wonderful idea. Aww. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. The numbers are indeed indisputable. No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest. Give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualification are no measures of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes, from the early hours of this morning to this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next, and how best to make my report. Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruto? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer. I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all. And, Mr. Naruto, I'd like you to take charge of this. Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asogi clan for generations. Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always. Oh, my friend. Well then, Mrs. Otto, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruto. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you too. What is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would. Oh, why is this game making me cry, dude? This is better written. I will say this takes death better than Rain Code, and Danganronpa, but I prefer the wackiness of those games. Like, it's more fun to play, and it's more fun to. But this is. Oh, that should have been obvious from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me, and no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you're Snake! I agree, we should throw her to the ground. You've just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked from the... No, I won't let you make excuses for me. I should never have thrown you, and not just once, but 5 times. I think it was just twice. Please, you must. Just throw me. Don't even think about it. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruto. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. I observed your throwing techniques several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique. Apparently it's called the Susato headset takedown, and these are head swimming. How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I'm a somewhat accomplished boxer. I would have you been so kind as to instruct me the techniques of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored. Let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruto? Cool, thanks. As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Oh yes, arresting indeed, and that is what you term the Susato takedown. Actually, no, that was a Susato squash. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Plasma. Plasma? Karuma. That's right. It's a prize sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking that to katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, isn't it? The Japanese man sorted his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling on that subject. There's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course, whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing he had to do, I still don't know what that was. But I'm gonna see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. Alright, I think that's a good place to stop, honestly. I don't want to start the new chapter, because I won't be able to finish it, because I'll be playing Bomber Cyberpunk. I don't want to end the stream there, though, because it's only been like an hour. I expected it to be a bit longer. You're just too smart. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna end stream and then work on digging up a talent list, so I can get ahead on that, and then play Bomber Cyberpunk all day tomorrow. That's what I'll do. I will be streaming later, though. But yeah, it's a bit of a shorter stream today. Tomorrow I'm going to be streaming for longer, because it's Bomber Cyberpunk launch day. I'll probably start streaming at like 2 and stream until like 5:30. But yeah, there's really nothing else I wanted to do today, so I'm gonna end stream there. Thank you for watching. But sorry for like a shorter stream today. Bye.